Tonight on Connecticut's news station, a mother and 9-month-old found dead after a house fire remembered tonight. But his loved ones mourn. The message at the vigil was this entire tragedy was avoidable.
Horrific new details tonight. A Meriden man is accused of brutally killing his neighbor's cat. The suspect's grandmother made a statement, and his friend shares with police disturbing texts they exchanged.
A landmark civil rights case happened 70 years ago today, but has the promise to desegregate schools actually been fulfilled? It's a complicated answer, and we'll bring you what we found after an extensive investigation.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
We begin tonight on the forecast. After a beautiful end of the work week, all eyes are on the weather this weekend now. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. After off and on rain for what felt like all week, today was a nice change of pace. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank for more on what we can expect. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, the clouds are coming back in again as we head into this upcoming weekend, and there is a chance for a couple of showers as we head through the day tomorrow. I think most of the time is still dry, though. And then as we head into next week, we are talking about a big warm up. So today was nothing compared to what we have in store for next week. Right now, we've got temperatures in the 60s across most of the state. The clouds came in late this afternoon into this evening. There are showers to the west of us across Pennsylvania and New York, and you'll see showers coming in off Cape Cod or coming in from the Atlantic Ocean. So we've got this kind of squeeze play of moisture nearby, which is why it may be a little damp at times during the day tomorrow. Overnight lows will drop back into the 50s. Tomorrow, we are looking at overcast skies. It'll be cooler as well. We're looking at high temperatures in the 60s. And again, while most of the day is dry, there is a chance for a shower or two off and on through your Saturday. It should be pretty light in nature. And then as we head into Sunday, we hang on to a lot of clouds, but we are definitely dry before we get warmer. We get brighter, and impressively so as we head into the middle of next week. We'll show you the numbers coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Well, it was a somber evening in Wallingford as heartbroken friends and family gathered to remember the woman and child found dead after a fire in their home on Geneva Avenue. Police say 19-year-old Charisma Johnson and her 9-month-old baby died on April 17th, but police believe they were both killed before the blaze started. 24-year-old Justin Varnado also died in the fire. He was the baby's father and was the subject of a protective order prohibiting him from being at the home. That order stemmed from domestic violence charges, but police have not directly accused him of killing the young mother and his son. People at the vigil say the fact he was in the home at all is proof the system failed.
The reality that we as victims are left on our own, and we have to either find the courage to tell our friends what is happening, and if we don't do that, then we're going to die. It should not be that way. We should not be dying, especially when we are reporting the violence that we are going through.
The fire is still being investigated as criminal in nature. If you or someone you know is in need of assistance pertaining to domestic violence, visit ctsafeconnect.org. It's a free and confidential resource line with someone available to help 24/7.
New details out of Meriden tonight. A man has been arrested and charged with animal cruelty. Police believe he killed his neighbor's cat. Fox 61's Matt Karen went through the disturbing arrest warrant.
18-year-old Carmelo Roberts is facing a felony charge. He was just arraigned here in Meriden Superior Court on Thursday. And today we went back to the apartment where this all allegedly took place. We want to warn you, some viewers may find the details of this story disturbing. This is the yard on Springdale Avenue in Meriden where police say Noodles met a malicious end.
I mean, this is disgusting.
A water bowl still sits undisturbed near what appears to be a cat bed, not far from the apparent blood stains that still smear the siding.
I was horrified at the brutal violence of, the description of what happened.
Fox 61 knocked on the door of both the cat owner and alleged killer. No one answered, but the newly obtained court documents speak for themselves, describing how Carmelo Roberts allegedly whacked the cat with a big knife, punched the cat with brass knuckles, and smashed the cat's head with a bowling ball, texting his friends, the eyes popped out and that he enjoyed it.
Animals deserve to live, and they need to be treated with respect like any other human being.
We found Carolina Suskell walking her best friend, Benny.
Truly, I can never believe ever harming him or anybody harming him. I would protect him at all costs.
Police say Noodles, the 8-month-old gray tiger domestic shorthair, lived in apartment C, while the alleged cat killer lived just feet away in B. The deadly encounter happening around February 25th, when Noodles escaped the safety of his apartment. His remains discovered just over the fence.
The fact that it was admitted to that this person actually did it and enjoyed it. And I mean, it's simply horrifying.
The warrant going on to detail how police encountered Robert's grandmother, who said she would not be surprised if Roberts committed this act. The killing of Noodles is the 5th known violent pet death in Connecticut so far this year. The animal advocates at Desmond's Army tell me that oftentimes violence on an animal is a precursor to human-on-human violence. They plan to be at Roberts' next court appearance on June 28th. Reporting in Meriden, Matt Caron, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Well, in Southbury tonight, police are searching for the person who tied up and abandoned a German Shepherd at a horse farm. The dog was found this morning at Willow Creek Horse Farm on North Georges Hill Road. Now, according to the police, the person who left the dog was driving an early to mid-2000s Chevy Tahoe. Anyone with information is asked to call police.
Middletown police are searching for 2 suspects. They're accused of stealing hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise from pharmacies. Police say the 2 women took Yankee candles, tampons, and leggings from the Walgreens on Main Street. They're also accused of stealing the same things at a CVS down the road. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it amounted to nearly $250. They were driving a black Honda Accord, but surveillance cameras didn't get the license plate number. Call police if you can identify the pair.
Today marked 70 years since the landmark U.S. Supreme Court ruling which outlawed racial segregation in public schools.
Board versus Board of Education was the unanimous decision in 1954, and it marked the end of the separate but equal precedent set by the High Court nearly 60 years earlier.
But how do things look now in 2024 here in Connecticut? Fox 61's Emma Wolfhorst takes a look.
The decision in Brown represented a promise that this would be a nation where students of all races and backgrounds could learn together in the same classrooms and the same schools.
But 70 years later, many say the U.S. still hasn't made good on that promise.
Our schools are segregated because our communities are segregated. Our social circles are segregated.
A new report from UCLA's Civil Rights Project found the proportion of schools that were intensely segregated, meaning a population of 0 to 10% white students, nearly tripled over the last 30 years, rising from 7.4 to nearly 20%.
We are not given access to the same amount of resources, to the same quality of education. And if we don't have that, how are we supposed to be successful?
According to data from the School and State Finance Project, a nonpartisan, nonprofit policy organization, Connecticut's student population is roughly 50% white and 50% Black, Indigenous, people of color, or BIPOC. But they say the state's school districts do not represent this.
While there certainly has been progress since Brown v. Board, we are still a very highly segregated state, both in terms of race and then also in terms of economics.
Morton says most students attend either a district where more than 75% of the students are white or a district where more than 75% of the students are BIPOC. More than half of all Black students attend a district where the white student population is less than 25% of the district's total enrollment. And a majority of Connecticut's BIPOC students are concentrated in fewer than 15 districts, with more than 45% of BIPOC students attending a local public school district where the total student population is more than 75% BIPOC.
districts that are serving primarily white students are spending $674 million more than anybody else combined. What that translates to is basically $2,500 per student.
Morton says Connecticut is making changes this past legislative session, expanding a new need-based funding model. But he says there is still much more work to be done.
Just because they're not in your neighborhood or next door doesn't mean that we should forget about the problems and the challenges that continue to impact thousands and thousands and thousands of students in the state every single day, not just on a day that we recognize a landmark Supreme Court decision.
And on a federal level, Connecticut's U.S. Senator Chris Murphy releasing a statement earlier today saying in part, quote, "We have to do more to make the promise of Brown v. Board of Education a reality." He's pushing for two pieces of legislation in Congress, the Strength in Diversity Act as well as the Magnet Act. He says these two measures would increase diversity in schools. Reporting in Hartford, Emma Wolforst, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.